my channel, or welcome to my channel, The Sun, where we're always working towards something greater. Today I wanted to talk about the topic about when people don't agree with your choices. I wanted to talk about this because this is something that I've been learning myself, and I've been learning for a while about accepting people's other opinions and kind of letting them be cast on me. Like, there's some things in my life that I had made changes about, being comfortable with my own acceptance of what I wanted to do with certain things. But there are still things that I hadn't made these changes. Like, sometimes when you make changes, it kind of is only one aspect of your life that it kind of affects and that it kind of can be changed. But you kind of have to learn how to apply them to different aspects of your life. That in some aspects of your life, it's a lot harder to implement them and change them and have it be something that you feel and agree with and everything. So for me, it kind of changed in the way with my feelings about what people wanted from me as far as a work life goes and a work life aspect, but it hadn't really changed as far as my personal life kind of aspect of things. So that might be something that you're struggling with as well, and I wanted to share that because I realized that sometimes when we're in a relationship with people, we feel like we're entitled to owe people our point of view of why we're doing something. And the video today is kind of saying, I don't think maybe you should do that. I know sometimes we always feel like maybe we're entitled to tell somebody how we feel about a certain thing and try and explain ourselves to that person to get them to understand where we're coming from. And certain people in our lives, like an intimate relationship, who we're actually in a partnership with, we feel like we have to divulge that information. But it doesn't really matter, guys. It doesn't matter who you're in the relationship with, if it's a friend, a family member, your partner. You don't owe anybody any more of an explanation than anything, like, doesn't really matter if they're super close or not as close. You don't owe them explanations. Because what I've been learning pretty much is that if people don't agree with your choices, stop subjecting yourself to their opinions. Like, this isn't gonna work in every situation. You'll still have times where there's going to be an argument over something that you couldn't really avoid that argument, but this is something that will help you kind of, I believe, have a little bit more peace and maybe prevent some arguments with people, because when you give people your opinions about things, you open yourself up to their judgment. So stop subjecting yourself to that, especially if it's somebody. You can try this sometimes with certain people and see what their judgments are. But if there's going to be somebody that just keeps judging you negatively about something, what your choice is, over and over, and you've tried to explain your point of view and they disagree, then stop fighting with them about it. Stop having the same conversation with them about it. Stop trying to get them to validate you and see your point of view, because it's not going to change. After so many times of you pointing that out, it's not going to change. And no matter how much you try and spill your heart to explain it, it's not going to be understood. And you're not going to get the validation through them. So just stop trying, honestly. You've got to just be comfortable in your own decisions and don't let it influence you so much of, I'm a bad person, I'm a wrong person, I'm whatever, because they don't agree with what I feel. They don't agree with my decisions. Because there's going to be differing of opinions, and you can't get somebody to change their mind about how they feel and what they think about the situation. They're not going to change. They're not going to approve of it. If they do decide to change and approve, great, but more than likely they're not going to. They're not going to change their ways about how they feel. So stop waiting for them to change and expecting them to change and them to finally understand you, to finally get you. Because you're kind of fighting a pointless battle there after so many times of asking them to understand and asking them to change and get it, because they just may not be willing to. Simply stop allowing them to have the choice to be negative about whatever it is. Simply stop allowing them to make a judgment upon you. Don't give them the justification of continuing to explain it. Just say, I've said all this before, you know my reasons, and I don't want to go over it again. And walk away, because you don't need to keep fighting. You don't need to have that tarot energy of continuing to just stand your ground about it constantly, because all that their negativity does is just poisons your tea. It makes you feel bad because it's just continuing to go through their filter, and it doesn't, this is something I learned, it doesn't make you a bad person or a wrong person because they don't agree. It doesn't. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you wrong. It's just a differing of opinions. They feel one way, you feel another way, and you shouldn't feel bad because you feel a different way about it. You're allowed to have your opinions. You're allowed to have your feelings about it. And sure, they might not like that you don't agree, but you don't like that they don't agree. So you just have to be okay with being in your own judgment and stop making you feel bad about yourself and your decisions. You're doing the best that you can. So stop putting your tea through their filter. Stop letting them poison it. Stop letting them have your Play-Doh, is another analogy that I was thinking about with this, is they're trying to pretty much tell you that what you're doing is wrong. It's like you're over here kind of doing your own thing, playing with your own Play-Doh, fitting it into the molds that you like, that you're like, yeah, I like this. This is going well. Okay, I feel good about this. And they come in, they see what you're doing, and they don't like what you're doing. So then they say, here, let me do that for you. That's not right. That's not what you should be doing. I don't agree with that. So let me just push you out of the way and take over your Play-Doh, and I'm going to fit it in the molds that I want to fit it in because that's how I feel it should be. So they totally just hijacked your life, hijacked your fun, hijacked your decisions and your choices so that you have no choice. And all you have the option to do, if you follow what they're asking you to do, is sit there and watch them just play with your Play-Doh while you're standing on the side like, when am I going to have a choice? When am I going to get to do anything? So what you should be asking yourself instead of letting them take over your life, letting them take over your Play-Doh, letting them dictate how you should be, what you should do, is just stop subjecting yourself to it, and ask yourself how you can protect yourself instead. And a lot of the time, some of the easiest things to say about it is, I'm just not going to discuss this anymore. I've already told you. You already know. And this conversation is over. I'm not going to keep running it over and over and over again. I've come to terms with the fact that you're not going to agree with my decisions and you're not going to agree with mine. I'm not a bad person for it. I just have a differing opinion. And, unfortunately, there are people that want to control what you do. There are people that want to control your choices because they don't agree with it. And you just have to learn to say, no, it's my choice, it's my decision, and I don't owe you any more of an explanation about it anymore. I'm gonna do what I feel I need to do. You don't really get a choice over it. Honestly, just let go of expecting them to change. They might not let go of the fact that they still want you to change, but it can minimize a lot more and give you a lot more peace if you just stop caring so much about what they want. And I know that that sounds bad, but when it comes to decisions of your own life, you have to be the one to be in control of it, because otherwise they're gonna, again, fit your mold to whatever they want, and then you're gonna be the one who's left out and unhappy about what's happening. because they're going to be doing all kinds of things that you're like, I don't agree with that. I don't want to do that. That's not right. You're going to be the one that's at unease about it. And I'm not saying stop caring about people altogether, but what I am saying is there needs to be a line, there needs to be some boundaries, there needs to be that you're still there for them and you still do what you can for them without sacrificing yourself and your own needs and having to change your beliefs and your feelings about things just because they don't agree with it. As long as what you're doing isn't hurting anybody, you know, you should be allowed to have control over your own life and make your own choices and make your own decisions. You shouldn't always have to put everything through everybody else's filter to see if they agree, because a lot of the time people aren't going to, but you have to follow your own paths about it. You have to follow your own beliefs about what you feel is right. Anyways, guys, I hope that this video was helpful, and I hope that it maybe could help you along your journey of something you might be struggling with yourself. And if you like my videos, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe. And other than that, guys, I hope that you have a great rest of the day, and I hope you all are reaching for the sun, the sky, the stars above. May life be filled with happiness, light, and love.